Hello, is this thing on? Are you able to hear me? Let's hope so. Okay, so welcome. We're going to go ahead and do a live stream where I'm going to look at Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. So I got sent this by Wizards of the Coast, and they not only sent me the standard cover, they also sent me the fancy cover. We're going to be looking at the standard cover today because I'm going to be giving away this copy when the review goes live on Dice Monkey. So one of the things that they sent along, in addition to that, is, let's see here. They have these fancy little sticker sheets that they usually have at cons and things like that. They've consistently sent these with any review copies. I think with the Chult Adventure, there was like 5 or 6 copies, which is pretty cool. These ones are metallic, and they have all kinds of images. What I really like is these stained glass along the bottom here. It's I think I want to use them for some terrain. I'm just not sure how to get them to, like, which piece of terrain to stick them to and what to attach them to. Yeah, they are very, very pretty. And it's not just that silver metallic that you see on the fancy cover. It's there's some gold in there and stuff like that. So those are the stickers that they sent along. Hopefully you can track some of these down, because they don't usually, you can't find them in stores, so I'm not sure where else you can get a hold of them except for at cons. They also sent me the expansion to Dungeon Mayhem, and the nice thing is I brought the standard Dungeon Mayhem to Korea here, so I've got that, and now I can actually try out this one as well. Let's see. They also sent along, came in this clear box, this Descent into Avernus. It's the Dice and Miscellany. This is a really cool box. This isn't just your standard dice that they release with pretty much every set. There's a lot more to it. It is also metallic. It's kind of reflecting off. Yes, Dungeon Mayhem is actually, I was pretty surprised at how fun it is. So this is a metallic cover. I'm not sure if you can quite see it with the whole screen reflect. Yep, there we go. With the whole screen reflecting back. It's not just like a gold. It's a sort of holographic gold. And it has really cool, keep trying to adjust it so you can see without it reflecting off the screen. It's got really nice art on all sides. It says Dungeons and Dragons in the infernal script, which I'll show you guys. And then on the back, there's this. So when we open it up, it actually, the lid has felt lining on it. So you can actually use the top as a dice tray. And you can use the bottom as a dice tray, which I'll show you in a bit. It's a really nice, smooth felt, not felt, but it's more of a velvet solid black. So that's really nice. And the walls are really, really solid. So it feels like you're not gonna break this along the way. So the dice are a sort of marble red, a little bit of darker red in there, not quite black. And then the numbers are gold. Oh, there we go. The numbers are gold, and they're all serifed as well. So they aren't your standard sans serif font on those. There aren't any symbols on them. I was kind of hoping to get a symbol of some sort on the 20 or something, but it does have 2 20s, which is important because previous sets haven't. And then which I don't understand why you would ever come out with a set specifically for 5th edition that doesn't have 2d20, because you need 2d20 in order to successfully play D&D. So it also comes with the 4 6-sided dice, which is important. Just last week on Twitter, or a couple weeks ago on Twitter, I was asking how everybody rolls up their stats. I do 46, drop the lowest, and do that 7 times and drop the lowest of those numbers. So 46 for you to do that, and then Fireball and things like that. There's the percentile dice, and then there's the D12, D8, and D4. So they're all really nice. I like the gold. It's a sort of orangish reddish gold while still being a distinct gold. So you can hear the sound of these rolling in the tray. It's a nice soft rattle. Here is the bottom, so it's a deeper lid than the top, but that gives you 2 trays to roll in. And then there's all these cards inside of there as well. So this is a fold out that has a way to identify demons and devils. But not only that, what I really like is that the demons up top are, I'm going to mispronounce this, Yongu, the demon prince of the Knolls. All of his different demons all have wolf-like or hyena-like heads, which I thought was a really cool way to do that. And then down below on the devils, they've got just all the different devils, including a white pit fiend named Lucille. And then they have a standard human over here, so you can easily identify for the size charts and everything. Then on the back is a little mini map of Avernus. And all the locations are numbered, or not numbered, but they're lettered all throughout. And I'm going to show you the big map that comes in the book and what that's got inside as well. So that's that. And then the other cards are pretty cool. There's the infernal script. And on the back, Volo explains the infernal script. Then you've got trinkets one could find in Avernus. Some strange encounter... let me adjust this. There we go. Some strange encounters there. And then... this is a little letter from Volo telling you basically, look out for going into Avernus. Then these are a bunch of different cards that are sort of demon and devil identification cards. And they've got the pictures of each one, so you can just pull this up and show somebody an abyssal chicken. And then on the back, Volo has a little entry about the creature, which is pretty cool. So you can actually... you can sort of use these in-game as information. Yes, chicken. The abyssal chicken, I actually honestly hadn't heard of before, but I think I'm going to need them to break out and terrorize the material plane as often as I can from here on out. So the great thing is you can use these sort of as... You can have one of the players actually maybe have a Volo's guide and give them access to these cards so they can be the ones to explain to the other players information. Because it's not giving out stats or anything like that. It's just giving out information about them that somebody with some experience would know. So these all fit in here easily with the dice without, making it so that everything is tightly packed or anything. It does come with a little clear container because when you've got the piece on display in the store, you want to show off the dice. And actually, you can fit the dice right in here, and it can fit right in there, and everything will not rattle around and not move. So I'm probably going to keep them with that clear plastic. So let's go ahead and get into the adventure itself. So it comes with a double-sided map. And note, this double-sided map is from my fancy book. Oh, hey, how's it going, Michael? This has this is from mine, not the one I'm going to be giving away when my review comes out. So, it does have to be scored. It's scored, so you do have to tear it off, so be careful. I've had that problem with previous maps. This one, as long as you're slow and careful, you can pull it off just fine. So, first we have a map of El Terrell, which is a city that has been pulled into Avernus. And you can see the city's split down the middle there, and it's floating up in the air, and there's these anchors sort of holding it in place all along the outside edges. And they do not have the locations numbered. It does not appear. Yeah, they're not numbered at all. So you, as the game master, will just sort of have to point out things to the players if they find that, if that's necessary. If you got this out in the middle of the table. And then also on the other side is the large version of the map of Avernus. And it's really nice and stylized. Like, it feels like this is a map you would find in the universe. Whereas this doesn't really look like a map in the universe. The other side really does look like something you would find maybe in some old shop in Baldur's Gate or something. Alright, so I haven't actually gone through this very much. We're going to go through it together so we can explore what's inside. I'm actually going to go grab my fancy cover. I put it out on my shelf so you can see what the other cover looks like as well. So I'll be right back. Alright, so this is the fancy cover. This is the one you're going to find only in game stores or through unscrupulous means from somebody selling them on eBay or something. This cover is nice and metallic. The silver is shiny, which you can see when it reflects off of here, which is pretty cool, just like all their other exclusive covers. It looks really nice on the shelf. I took a picture and posted that up on Twitter yesterday. So it does look really fantastic next to all the other fancy covers. And I really, really like the artwork on the back. Let me adjust there. It's just really, really gorgeous. The patterns in her wings sort of remind me of a little Babylonian, which is pretty cool. It just overall looks really, really nice. And then everything inside is identical. So, but this is the fancy cover. This one I'm holding on to and reviewing. And then this is the copy I'm going to be giving away. So let's use my copy so we're not cracking that spine too much. All right. So to begin with, let me make sure I'm getting... Why not what? Why am I not giving away the fancy cover? I'll wait for a response. All right, so here's the... it has the complete table of contents, the credits, where's the disclaimer? There's always a clever disclaimer. Here we go. This adventure is a work of fiction aimed at providing you and your friends with many hours of fantastic entertainment. Although devils and the Nine Hells play prominent roles in the story, the evil they represent are meant to be fought and overcome. Wizards of the Coast fully endorses the kicking of evil's butt. Let darkness fall and light prevail. We strongly advise you not to play this adventure backward, lest Asmodeus appear in a puff of smoke to talk politics, as archfiends are wont to do. Oh, you have a Curse of Strahd game? I've been interested in playing Curse of Strahd. We ended up playing like one session, and my my cleric ended up dying immediately in an encounter with a specter inside of the very first house we went into, and it was pretty great. I actually really enjoyed it. My wife was playing my character's sister, and her character did not like seeing her brother immediately die. So that was actually a lot of fun. It was fun to get myself murdered in the very first encounter. But it was a critical hit, and specters, I believe they immediately kill you if they... Oh no, they turn you into a wraith if they end up killing you. So I ended up going off and becoming some terrible servant of the specter. So there's a pronunciation guide, which is important because there's a lot of demon names. What's the chest monster, the mimic? Yeah. So this is the pronunciation guide, which is really important because a name here like Kajil Orenmar is pronounced. Okay, I actually pronounced it pretty close. Kajil Orunmar. But all through, it has all kinds of really elaborate, tricky names that are going to be difficult to pronounce. So it's nice to have those there. Then again, like, just pronounce it however you want to pronounce it, and who cares? So they do have, it does mention, there's kind of a little bit of spoilers in here with the pronunciation guide. Like it does mention Arkan the Cruel, who is a character who has appeared multiple times in various different streaming games, which is pretty cool. So the adventure, let's see. The overview is Trouble in Baldur's Gate. It starts off in Baldur's Gate, and everybody's trapped inside the city because the city of Etriel. Yeah, just mentioned. Yeah, there we go. El Turel has vanished. And so all the refugees who were outside the city have panicked and they're running to Baldur's Gate. And so they've shut down the whole city. Then the characters have to go to Candlekeep. And then Chapter 2, they will actually go to El Turel that has been pulled into the Nine Hells. Here you've got a chapter guide that tells you what's going to happen in each chapter. And then it goes through and explains like the fall of Zariel and things like that. They have a section for role-playing devils, how to role-play them, and has all the different like traits, like common traits like that they're charming and patient and civil and things like that. Quite different than demons you might have faced in Out of the Abyss. Then they have a section on what life is like in the Nine Hells that begins with, everyone is unhappy, and everything's awful. And then Paradise Lost, anywhere is everywhere, and that personal touch. And I'll let you read those to get into more details on that. But I love that the Life in the Nine Hells, the very first entry is, everyone is unhappy, and everything's awful. So, Chapter 1, Tale of Two Cities. They, again, have a guide here showing you how to move through, and it also tells you for characters of what level. So it's good to keep an eye on and make sure you're not sending, if you're doing experience points and you're not doing the milestone leveling. So you can go through that. They do talk about the Elf Song Tavern, which is pretty cool. So they have a map of the city, which I was disappointed that the map of the city wasn't one of the maps that was featured, but I understand that you're not spending that much time in Baldur's Gate for the adventure. Killed by a broom. Was it a sentient broom, or was it just somebody knocked over a broom and rolled really poorly? I'm going to be putting this up on YouTube, so Geek Girl Bookworm said that her group was killed by a broom in the Death House in Curse of Strahd. So I'm hoping that we'll see a full map possibly put out at some point, because we have a map of, I believe we have a map of Waterdeep. So it'd be nice to actually get a full map of Baldur's Gate as well, in full size. There is a really large piece of block text. One thing I'd really like to see them do with block text, or I'd like to see somebody do, is I'd love to see somebody actually read out these block texts, and then a DM could actually have them prepared on their phone or on their computer. You just click a button and the block text is read out, which would be pretty cool, especially because this is all description and you could have like music playing in the background and sound effects and stuff like that. I'd love to see if somebody would do that, especially because a lot of times they say experienced DMs don't use block text. I use block text and then I feel self-conscious and I try to stop using block text, and then I just end up sort of stumbling through and half reading it and half not reading it. So I'd really like to just see somebody else read it. Or maybe even I could record it myself and play that for my players while I get up and go get some coffee. So, throughout the book, there is some really, really gorgeous 2-page artwork. Like, this is the city of Baldur's Gate. And it's gorgeous. And it's all throughout. There's these really full-page spreads, which are nice because you can show this to the players and it's going to give them a good view. And you don't have to worry about them seeing any other text on the page. They do have the Elf Song Tavern here, which everybody knows and loves from Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, and then, of course, all the Baldur's Gate games. But it goes through and describes all the locations, so you can definitely use the Elf Song Tavern for any further adventures. It has the Elf Song itself written there. And let's see, what else do we got? We have an adventure here, the Dungeon of the Dead 3. So there's a few different little adventures you can go on. Again, I haven't fully gone through this, so I'm not giving an actual review. So I'm exploring this as you guys are. It takes place at a bathhouse, and then these are the lower levels. It looks like, and all the artwork is by the maps are by Dice and Logos, which I've really enjoyed so far because it makes them really, really easy to not only draw out, but you can also go and my mind just went blank. You can also really easily, if you're using dungeon tiles or 3D dungeon tiles, you can build very easily using these maps without a problem because you're able to see exactly where the tiles are and everything. So there's a whole little dungeon here. It goes on for a few pages. I believe, yeah, this is a cultist of Tiamat, and we've seen that artwork in the Tiamat adventures, which I really, really liked that piece of art. So it's nice to see it back. It makes sense that you wouldn't just draw a brand new piece of art of a faceless cultist. They have another tavern that is actually a boat called the Low Lantern. So already it's introducing you to different things around the city. And I think you could have the players spend quite a bit of time just wandering around the city before the adventure actually fully gets underway. Let's see. Then we get to Candlekeep, and Candlekeep has this really gorgeous piece of artwork here. I have used Candlekeep before in my 4th edition game, but I didn't envision it like this. I just envisioned it as a really big library, not as a full castle, which, could have been my fault. I'm sure there's plenty of descriptions describing it as such. Here's another piece of gorgeous artwork in here. I would really love to see digital files of these pieces of artwork, because then you could use them for all kinds of other things as well. So now we're going into El Terrell. They've got the map here, and this one actually shows some of the locations, shows where the characters arrive and things like that. So then you can lay out the map and help players find things. And there's a gorgeous piece of artwork showing the city chained, floating in the sky. More gorgeous maps all throughout. Let's see. All right, now we actually get into Avernus proper. So there is a character in here, and we've got the art on this sticker. Her name is Lulu, and she's what do they call her? A Hollyphant? She's basically like a magical baby elephant with wings. And she looks like she's a guide throughout here. Let's see. Here's some optional rules that include flesh warping. So if you fail a death save, an archdevil can contact the player telepathically and offer assistance. If they do, it counts as automatically rolling a 20 on your next death save, so it won't necessarily automatically save you, but it's gonna definitely. Wait, no, a 20 just sets you to 0, so never mind. Yeah, so it immediately sets you to 0 and stabilizes you, so you don't have to worry about dying. And then, let's see, the archdevil then gives you a task that you have to complete that's straightforward and simple, but always benefits the archdevil. And I don't see the rules for why you would use flesh warping. Okay, so when you make direct contact with Demon Ichor in Avernus, you have to take a DC 10 con saving throw, and if you fail, you end up with some flesh warping. So let's roll this nice percentile dice set and see what happens when I come in contact with some Demon Ichor, or Devil Ichor. Demon Ichor. Okay. We got an 8, which is the target's eyes push out of its head on the end of stalks. So you have to remove a curse in order to remove that. So your eyes are actually sticking out of your head, which is delightful. Some other ones include, let's see, we got a 28. A pair of wings, either feathered or leathery, sprout from the target's back, granting a flying speed of 30 feet. So not everything is terrible. Some of the things are good. The target swells, tripling its weight. The target becomes thin and skeletal, halving its weight. The target's head doubles in size, so good luck finding any helmets. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Let's see. If you attempt to map Avernus, madness begins to set in. For each mapping session, the character has to take a wisdom saving throw. If you fail, you contract a random form of madness from the DMG. So don't try to go through and map. So this map of Avernus isn't exactly accurate. It's like relative, but if you try to actually specifically map it, you're going to go crazy. They have a Fort Knucklebone. Ooh, there's a couple of really cool looking Kenku here. So there's gorgeous art throughout. I don't want to go piece by piece through the adventure, but here's one of those hell rides that everybody was talking about in the epic, which is pretty awesome. And let's see. This is where we first find our abyssal chicken. Let's see here. More adventure. Looks like we're coming up on the end of the adventure. Okay, so here's actually where we get that stained glass. It actually shows the fall of Zariel. And there we go. Again, I'd love to see this in... Oh, thanks for joining us, Michael. Yep, I'll upload it onto YouTube. See you later. I would love to see digital versions of this, because then you could print those onto clear plastic, and then you could use those in terrain. Which, yeah, it's some really gorgeous artwork. But if you use this on terrain, you could even break away pieces and stuff like that and have shattered stained glass and things like that. But yeah, this is really cool. I may just have to scan it myself and do that. All right. So they do have Tiamat here, which I'm not sure if she's different than her version that my players killed in the Rise of Tiamat, but she is still a challenge level 30, which is pretty awesome. And this is only supposed to take players up to like 15th level, I think. So you're not going to do well. My players were level like I think 18 or 19, and there was 12 of them, and the only way they succeeded was because they had weakened her a lot before the battle even started. So I don't know the situation in which Tiamat would show up, but don't try to kill her. You're gonna fail. All right, let's see. Oh, here's another piece of artwork of the blood war between the demons and devils. This looks like some straight up 40k stuff here. Like I would expect to find this in one of the 40k rulebooks. All right, so then we get to the gazetteer. So we're only halfway, a little bit more than halfway through the book, and this is where we actually everything from here on out, I believe, is besides monsters and stuff like that. It's all about Baldur's Gate. So this is going to see this is why I kind of wish they had a map of Baldur's Gate in there, because so much of this book is just a guide to Baldur's Gate in the same way the Dragon Heist was a guide to Waterdeep. So it talks all about the area around it, the government. This is nice. Different gate interactions that you could have when you're coming through the gate, and then different reactions you could have from the different watch and things like that. Another gorgeous full piece of artwork. Some of the dangers in the city. There we go. We have a nice 2-page spread of the map. I was worried that the map was going to be small, but we do have the full map here. Let's see. They also have these really, when you want to see some of the nice, bigger, more prominent buildings, they do have some nice artwork here. I'm not sure who did these pieces, but I really like that. Especially because if you look, they're cutaways, which I grew up with a bunch of different cutaway books, including a few that were medieval castles and stuff like that. And so it's pretty cool to see that redone here. All right. The different gates to get into the city, in the lower city. Let's see. Some outer city threats and denizens. And this artwork, I believe, is from the another Baldur's Gate adventure that came in between 4th and 5th edition. I can't remember what it was called, but basically it gave you a. It was also a guide to Baldur's Gate and had a little adventure in there as well. All right. So here's some character backgrounds for players who are from Baldur's Gate. It goes through each of the different backgrounds that are in the player's handbook, and then looks at how that can be modified, or like brand new criminal origins if you're from Baldur's Gate. Some new backgrounds like Faceless, some new hermit origins. I'm trying to see if there's any new other. Yeah, that looks like it's it for. There's just the Faceless as in brand new background. Dark Secrets. So this is a really cool thing that I saw newbie DM Enrique on Twitter go into, that you can actually tie all the players together with that they all have some sort of dark secret. Like they all had been in a gang and murdered somebody, or they all witnessed a murder. There was a conspiracy of some sort. They have conspiracy in Baldur's Gate. You can roll on the details, what the roles that everybody had was, and then the consequences. Oh yeah, Murder in Baldur's Gate. That was the name of the adventure, I believe. And so Murder in Baldur's Gate, and they have some different sample secrets in here. All right, then Diabolical Deals. This is a whole section all about deals that demons offer, infernal contracts, and how they can end up screwing you over. Then we get the infernal war machines, which basically are Mad Max in hell. These are big, huge, giant vehicles that are powered by souls, and they're pretty cool. One thing that I do want to do if I end up running this adventure is I'm probably just going to go online and get a ton of chaos bits from Warhammer and a ton of orc bits, and then get some of the orc vehicles from 40k and just start slapping all kinds of spikes and skulls and stuff onto them, and make some really beat up, dusty infernal war machines. So this is where we actually get rules for vehicles. Like the Devil's Ride is it's a two-wheeled infernal machine, so you basically can have a demon motorcycle, which is pretty awesome. They have rules for repairing your vehicles, so you can really go, like, you can end up going into Avernus and then just spending the rest of your entire campaign playing a big, huge, giant game of Mad Max, except that instead of trying to collect gasoline, you're instead collecting people's souls, which would be pretty cool. So, then we have magical items. There's all kinds of evil, infernal magic items here. Looks like some of them are named. Oh, but it doesn't look like it's... I was expecting this Metallitalk to be sentient, but it doesn't look like it. So yeah, there's all kinds of really cool looking shields. In fact, the Shield of the Hidden Lord looks a lot like a miniature's shield that I just painted. Alright, then in creatures, this is where we actually get the demons and devils, like Aminizu and Baphomet. And I believe we've seen Baphomet before in Mordenkainen's Guide. Some of these I think we've seen before in Mordenkainen's Guide, but the nice thing is they don't assume that anybody has anything, so you end up getting them here as well. And you also don't have to go and pull that book out if you don't need to. I don't really mind things getting reprinted in multiple sources if it makes sense for it to be in that source. We have Hell Wasps. Okay, so here's the Hollyphant. There you can see it there. Little baby elephant. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be forced to put these into any game my wife plays in. It's a small celestial creature. It has an aura of invulnerability. It can cast like bless and cure wounds and protection from evil and good. So this is going to be really useful to have in... Oh, and once per day it can raise dead. So it's going to be really useful when you're wandering through this level of hell. More terrible creatures, the Red Caps. Yongu, and there's Zariel. She is challenge rating 26, so good luck. And then we have the Infernal Rapture menu. So this is a menu for a restaurant in hell. And I'm sure somewhere in the adventure there's a reason for it, but it seems absurd in like the best, most amusing way possible. And they have it both in the common tongue as well as the infernal tongue. Then, this I had flipped to before, and I think this is gorgeous. This is just concept art. They've done this for a couple of their books, but not all of them. And I really like when they do, because there is some really, really gorgeous artwork that is just really, really cool to see. Including they've got some really cool pieces of full-page art as well. There you can see the blighted landscape that just screams Mad Max. And then below you can see all the different vehicles. And then in the very back, we've got the Infernal script. Now I've used the Draconic script before in games, and what I do with that, it's a really great way to do a very simple puzzle. You can write out messages with the Draconic script or the Infernal script, and you don't have to, like, you can go online and find a dictionary of Draconic or find sites that will translate English to Draconic. Don't waste your time with that, because then you're going to be spending the entire session with the players sitting over a piece of paper. You could hand it over to them and then tell them, translate it and come back to me next session if you wanted to. But what I do is I will take and write out the thing in English, but with this script, and then the players have to translate it. And a lot of times the players will, like, somebody will speak Infernal, and they'll say, oh, I can't why can't I just translate this? And I usually give some dumb answer about how it's, for the Draconic, it was like, oh, well, this is Old Draconic. You're able to recognize the letters, which is why I'm letting you translate, but you don't actually recognize the actual, the text itself, so you're going to have to translate it. And, yeah, so that's Descent into Avernus. Like I said, I am going to be doing a giveaway of this that will be a combination of Twitter and Facebook and the blog itself. But I am currently in Korea, so I'm going to be giving it away, but the deadline won't be until after I'm back in the States at the end of the month. So, yeah, that's all there is. This is actually really fun to do. I'm planning on actually doing more of these read-throughs. I've got a bunch of books here that I'm more than happy to crack open and go through and show you everything that's inside. So we're probably going to do that in the coming weeks. So I hope you have a good night, and I will see you later. Actually, is anybody still on the stream? If so, if you have any questions about the book, let me know while I switch over and see if there's anybody still on the stream right now. I have 2 viewers at the moment. So, do you have any questions at all? Let me know. Because I can just flip open the book. Looks like probably not. All right. So if there's nothing else, then now we will end the stream, and I will catch you later.